Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining me for tonight's episode of Beyond the Ballot. I'm Brady Meyer. It's good to have you all with me again for the first time in a couple weeks. I was enjoying a vacation last week, which is why I haven't been here and there's been no Beyond the Ballot. But I'm back and I'm excited to be back and keep bringing you all of these headlines and interviews in the political world. Now, today we do have some things to catch up on. I will be bringing you eventually my conversation with Negaunee City Manager Nate Heffron regarding the city's upcoming ballot proposal concerning the ice arena. That's coming up in a little bit, but there's been some big political news happening since the last episode of Beyond the Ballot. So let's start there. Usually we'd start with what's happening on the national level and work our way down to the UP, but tonight we're going to start with some big local stories that we missed last week, starting with the race for the 38th State Senate District. A former UP legislator announcing her campaign for that position. Sarah Cambensi, the last week former 109th state representative, announced her campaign. She's running as an independent to fill the seat left behind by current state senator Ed McBroom, who is term limited. Cambensi served 3 terms as a state representative, and she says the reason she's running as an independent is so she can focus on issues instead of political games.
I've had a track record of always working for the people, supporting the people, voting for the people over party, and really doing it for the right reasons, wanting to get the results and make the place that I am born and raised in a better place for not only me and my family, but for other families and generations to come.
Now let's take a quick look at who else is in the mix for the 38th State Senate District seat. Beau Lefebvre and Dave Preston are running for the Republican nomination. Chris Mapps and Kelly Vangenhoven are running for the Democratic nomination. We will continue following this election for you all here on Beyond the Ballot, with much more on this race very soon, including some interviews with the candidates in this race. Now, for another race impacting UP voters, a new candidate for the Marquette County District Judge position has launched his campaign. Last week, Marquette County Attorney Derek Swajinen kicked off his campaign. That was last Thursday. Current District Court Judge Roger Kangas is retiring, and his seat is open for the 2026 midterm election. Swajinen has nearly 30 years of courtroom experience under his belt. He says he's committed to making sure reoffenders do not continue re-entering the system.
You see a lot of the same names and same faces, and if you can get those out of the loop, obviously that would free up a lot of the time for the courts to work on other things. But we have to focus on the mental health issues, and as I said, the sobriety issues.
Marquette lawyer William Nordine and Marquette County Chief Public Defender Patrick Crowley are also running for the position. This is another race we will be following here on Beyond the Ballot with future interviews with the candidates. And now, as promised, with that behind us, let's shift gears to Washington, where Iran continues to be a big topic as the war in the Middle East continues. Over the weekend, the war in Iran reached the 1-month mark as fighting started on February 28th. Yesterday, aboard Air Force One, President Donald Trump said the U.S. is, quote, weeks ahead of schedule in Iran. And we're all still feeling the impacts of the war at the gas pump. Gas prices across the United States barely remain below $4 a gallon. According to AAA, the average U.S. gas price edged up by 1 cent today to $3.99 a gallon. That's the highest it's been since 2022. The price of gas has gone up $1.01 since the fighting in Iran started. More price increases could be on the way in coming days as crude oil and gasoline futures were higher in trading this morning. Now moving to Michigan, the war in Iran is sending shockwaves through global oil markets and for companies here in the state. Truck drivers now paying close to $5 a gallon. Jaden Hawkins brings us a closer look at how truckers are coping with the price surge.
K&P McClure is a family-owned trucking company in Lansing that was founded in 1992, operating with just one truck. Over 3 decades and 44 trucks later, CEO Ken McClure says the current cost of diesel is putting his company at risk.
By the end of April, if diesel prices are what they are now, we're going to close the business.
McClure says diesel prices have jumped about $1.50 per gallon in just weeks, pushing costs close to $5 a gallon. That surge is costing him roughly $7,000 more per week, an expense he says is simply not sustainable.
We have never seen prices this high for maybe about 15 years ago for about a week. Revenue hasn't gone up to compensate for the increase in price of diesel.
Michigan State University professor Matthew Leffler says the price hike is going to impact everyone.
The vast majority of everything that you have at your doorstep or at the shelf was in a truck at some point. This is going to impact absolutely every aspect of the American consumer. It'll affect you from everything from the groceries you buy to the clothing you buy to just going to work every single day.
That was Jaden Hawkins reporting. And now moving back to the UP for a little background on today's guest before we dive into the conversation we had a few weeks ago. As many of you know, a bond proposal for requesting $1.25 million is on the ballot this May for Negaunee residents. This millage looks to replace the failing equipment of the Negaunee ice rink, and if it isn't replaced, there may not be any ice to skate on next season. Last week, the city hosted various walkthrough tours of the arena to show the public its failing equipment and answer questions they may have about the proposal. The main goals of the capital improvement project are to keep the ice rink going and replace the ice chiller. Secondary goals include upgrading the locker room, bathroom, kitchen, bleachers, and the installation of a dehumidifier.
It's the control unit for that system as well that will not be replaceable. So if that unit goes out, and the most likely of it going out is extremely high, probably like 90%, then that means this facility will not open, because it cannot open simply because the ice cannot be made.
The project will be on the ballot again on May 5th. And now that leads me to today's guest, who you just heard from, Nate Heffron. Nate and I had the chance to catch up a few weeks back for a bit of a deeper dive into the ice arena and what this bond proposal means for the facility and the city of Negaunee. And also, many of you may remember a few weeks ago, we had a historic blizzard in Upper Michigan, which is when we happened to talk. So just pulling back the curtain a little bit, we were supposed to talk in person here at the station on that Monday. I was, however, stranded in Wisconsin, which forced us to talk virtually. And because technology can be faulty, my camera ended up not recording me during our conversation. We also had some connection issues, so I just ask you all to bear with me, and hopefully you can still enjoy and take something away from our chat. Take a listen. And got Nate Heffron, Negaunee City Manager, joining me today. Nate, appreciate you taking the time to join me in the middle of a blizzard when there's some crazy stuff going on. But talked a little bit today about the Negaunee Ice Arena and what voters can be expecting on their May ballots. So I guess just first of all, walk me through a little bit what people are going to be seeing on their ballots in May and why it's important to you to see that continue to get the help it needs.
Yeah, sure. So voters this coming May will see a bond proposal for roughly about a $500,000 increase in taxes to help facilitate the ice arena project, which will be a two-phase project. First and foremost, to construct a chiller and a dehumidifier unit within the structure itself. And then the second phase, which will happen the following year, will be upgrades to the general facility, new locker rooms, combined locker rooms, updated restroom facilities, so on and so forth. This project is important because it is going to be necessary for the project to even occur. So if this millage does not pass, this bond proposal does not pass, then we will most likely be seeing the closure of the ice arena.
So really, I know since basically the time you became city manager, you've done a lot working alongside people in the city to kind of revitalize some of the areas in Negaunee. How does this kind of work alongside all those other projects and just enhancing Negaunee as a whole?
Sure. So the ice arena acts as like an added benefit to the community and surrounding area. It adds in new activities for kids, team building, socialization, and all those types of activities. The ice arena is an important tool for the community because it just also enhances the capabilities of, well, I shouldn't say capabilities, but it acts as kind of a catalyst for people to want to live here because there's more amenities for people to enjoy. Hockey is a major sport in the area in the Upper Peninsula as well. Marquette County only would have uh, 2 sheets of ice with Lakeview Arena left to the public if Negaunee's ice arena should close. And we all know that even Lakeview Arena is having its issues as well. It may not look rough, but there are components that need to be upgraded and fixed to make the ice arena actually produce ice and be what it needs to be to facilitate ice skating and hockey. It also we'll need upgrades to failing parts of the arena as well. We don't even have a women's locker room right now. They're using a skate room, which is not very suitable for that. And to be able to facilitate other activities, some different ice hockey associations, Michigan Athletic Sports Association, we need referees, uh, changing room, shower room, so on and so forth. So some of the stuff we're looking at, this overall project is minor things. Some of the things are extremely, um, uh, lack of a better word, essential for the ice arena to operate. If we cannot produce ice, we do not have an ice arena. So we're looking for $1,250,000 to make these upgrades. In addition to that, we're looking for some grants to help offset some of those costs or overruns to make sure that we have an ice arena in perpetuity for the residents and surrounding community members of the Negaunee area.
Yeah, you just mentioned that grant piece that I did want to ask about because we were also at a meeting last week in the city where there was a resolution passed looking for a matching grant. Can you explain a little bit about what that money would do and what you guys specifically are asking for, and just kind of walk me through that piece of it?
Sure. So we're looking to obtain a grant through the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. If that grant is successful, then we'll be using that on the phase 2 of the project, which is the general upgrades to the facility, including those locker rooms that I mentioned earlier. Um, we will not know if we're going to get that grant until December of this year. However, we need to start this project if the bond proposal passes as early as June of this year so that way we can have a season for 2026, 2027. If the bond proposal does not pass, the likelihood of the ice arena opening is very, very low at this point.
Can you just kind of real quick walk me through sort of the timeline where you identified the need to really get this funding, or else it was looking like potential closure, and then figuring out the ballot language specifically, and figuring out that it would be on the May ballot? Can you just kind of go through the process that you guys in the city have worked through in the last year or so?
Yeah, sure. So it's been known for quite some time that some upgrades would need to be done at the ice arena, specifically on the chilling unit. The facility is nearly 40 years old. The chilling unit is younger than that, but super past its prime of you know operational. I can't think of the best term, but it's past its prime. It should have been replaced probably 20 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago. So we've identified that, but the funding for that does not exist. There was some DNR grants, as you can see, we're going for one right now. There's no guarantee that we would get that grant. And originally, when we tried to go for some grants through the DNR, we were told that we were not eligible. After a little bit more digging, we determined that we were, and we confirmed that with the agency, and they did come back and say, yes, we would be eligible. However, again, it would be difficult to obtain one. So with that known, we kind of were sitting there uh, hoping that we can, move along with the ice arena until the season ends. So after we had some issues earlier this season with the abnormally high temperatures in October, we were seeing some malfunctions with our chilling unit, and it was causing issues where the ice was not being able to keep up with the temperature. So we had to scrap the ice, and then when it got a little bit colder, we brought that back. So then, with that known, we knew we were really, really on our last legs. So we had to look into finding ways to facilitate a project. And the only way to facilitate a project was going to be going to the voters to ask for them approved for this funding one time, make the repairs, and then start looking towards the future. What will that bring? We're not sure at this time. Right now, we're focused on getting the arena up and operational, but some things that are floating around are potential price increases, obviously for user groups that are using it, folks that are outside the city paying for this, paying for part of it anyway, and then looking at ways to mitigate the overall cost of the ice arena to the public so that way we can potentially turn a profit and start saving some of those monies for future repairs to the facility without having to go to bond again. So that's where we are today. Here we are waiting to get this bond passed and find some additional grants to facilitate the overall project and then move towards a sustainable future financially for the ice arena.
And May 5th is coming up pretty quick. It's only a little more than a month away. Is there anything that you hope voters or anybody who even will potentially use the facility, is there anything that you'd like them to keep in mind as we get closer to that election day?
Sure, we just like the public to engage with the city, look for a mailer coming to them in their utility bill that'll explain the overall ballot proposal, what it's going to be used for, how much it could potentially cost them. Come on out and decide one way or the other the fate of the Negaunee Ice Arena.
All right, well, Nate, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to talk to me. And there's some crazy weather things going on. It'll be interesting to see where the this vote goes in May. So I appreciate you taking some time to talk about it.
Problem.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
Hey, you too. Take care.
All right, well, there you have it. That was Negaunee City Manager Nate Heffron. And one more time, again, remember that vote is coming up on May 5th if you live in the city of Negaunee. I'd like to thank Nate again for his time, especially in the middle of a blizzard, talking to me about that vote. Now, before I say goodnight, I want to share some exciting news about Beyond the Ballot. If this is your first time tuning in, first of all, thank you for being here. And second, I want to let you know about a way you can catch up on all the previous episodes of Beyond the Ballot. That is on our website. And while I still want to encourage you to tune in live on our website or on TV6 Plus, you can find all our previous episodes on our website. That's uppermichigansource.com. Just find the TV6 Live tab, scroll down until you see Beyond the Ballot right here, and all previous episodes of the show will be available to watch on demand. And as a quick aside, I know right now we are not streaming on TV6 Plus or our website. Remember, the show is still sort of in its infancy, so we're working out some kinks with that. But hopefully some of you are watching this in the future on demand, or also tonight we're streaming live on YouTube for the first time. So if you're watching me that way, thanks for joining me. Good to have you with us, and hopefully you all continue to tune in and see what's going on in the political world here in Upper Michigan. Well, that is all for tonight's episode of Beyond the Ballot. Join me all again on Wednesday to hear from Michigan's 38th State Senate District candidate Kelly Vangenhoven. That interview will kick off a series of talking with the different candidates in that race, as I alluded to earlier in the show. It will be an interesting one to follow with just a little more than 4 full months until that August primary. That will be on Wednesday, April 1st. Yeah, April's right around the corner, if you can believe it. Now, in the meantime, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback for me, my email is on the bottom of the screen now. As always, I encourage you all to reach out with any feedback because I do want to hear from you as how to make the show better and more engaging for all the viewers. Well, that's all for tonight's episode of Beyond the Ballot. Have a great night, and I will see you all again on Wednesday.